Welcome back to my YouTube channel Vault Treasures. Imagine finding a small, brown penny in your pocket and realizing it could be worth over $500,000. Sounds impossible, right? But what if I told you that one ordinary-looking 1968 D Lincoln cent could turn an average person into an instant millionaire? One coin. One discovery. One life-changing moment. And no, this isn't a scene from National Treasure. Though, it might as well be. Before you start emptying your couch cushions, let's uncover what makes this humble 1968 D penny so valuable and how you might have one hiding in plain sight. Let's go back to 1968. America was changing, the moon landing was just around the corner, music was revolutionizing culture, and the U.S. Mint in Denver was busy striking millions of Lincoln pennies. Most of them were ordinary. Copper, shiny, and forgettable. But among the millions, a few were different. A few contained minting errors so rare, they would one day redefine the meaning of a penny. Collectors and experts began whispering about a strange batch of 1968 D pennies, coins with double dies, missing mint marks, or even off-center strikes. These rare imperfections made some coins worth more than an average car, and others worth more than an average home. But the real question is, how can you tell if your penny is one of them? First, let's talk about the key details. The D Mint mark stands for the Denver Mint, the powerhouse that struck over 2.8 billion pennies that year. But among those billions, a handful had something unusual, a double die obverse. Look closely at the date 1968 and the word Liberty. If the letters seem shadowed or slightly doubled, congratulations, you might be holding a coin that collectors would pay up to $548,000 for. Now, before you grab a magnifying glass and scare your neighbors by shouting "I'm rich," let's slow down. Because the difference between a $1 penny and a $500,000 penny is microscopic. You'll want to inspect the mint mark. It should appear slightly misplaced or doubled the lettering, particularly the word Liberty, or "In God We Trust." Any doubling there could mean you've struck gold. Well, copper gold. A penny graded as MS67 red or higher could fetch astronomical prices at auction. Collectors have paid six figures for these hidden treasures. But here's the catch: countless people have tossed away fortunes without realizing what they had. Some even used these rare coins to buy a cup of coffee. Can you imagine handing the cashier $500,000 and getting 75 cents in change? Ouch. This is why awareness matters. Because knowledge, just like that penny, is small, but powerful enough to change everything. Every coin tells a story. But the story of the 1968 D penny isn't just about copper and metal, it's about opportunity. It's a reminder that wealth often hides in plain sight, waiting for those who choose to look closer. Today, these coins continue to surface in old jars, forgotten drawers, and inherited collections. Each discovery ignites a spark of hope. Because for every person who finds one, life changes instantly. But here's something most collectors don't know, a secret that could make even the smallest flaw in your coin worth thousands more. Grading. The secret weapon of serious collectors. When a professional grading company authenticates and rates your coin, it can multiply its value overnight. A coin with a rare error in pristine condition becomes a legend, the kind that auctions whisper about for years. So, if you've ever doubted that small things can create massive change, let this penny remind you otherwise. Check your change. Search your drawers. Revisit those old jars passed down from your grandparents. The next 1968 D penny worth $548,000 might already be in your home. And if it is, you might finally be able to afford that dream car, that dream. What if I told you, a single penny minted in 1978, yes, just 1 cent, could now be worth over $354,000? Seems impossible, right? But here's the shocking truth: these tiny copper coins, the ones most people ignore, have quietly built real fortunes for a select few Americans who knew what to look for. And who knows, that penny sitting in your old coffee jar might just be your ticket to a wealthy lifestyle you never thought possible. Before you run to your piggy bank, wait, let's find out why this 1978 D Lincoln penny is rewriting what we thought we knew about pocket change. In 1978, the Denver Mint struck millions of Lincoln pennies. Most were ordinary, copper-coated zinc pieces that passed through countless hands. But hidden among them was a microscopic mistake. A minting error so rare that decades later, it would transform a penny into a piece of American treasure. What kind of mistake could make a 1-cent coin worth a luxury car, or even a house? Experts call it a double die error. When the coin's design is accidentally struck twice, ever so slightly off-center, it creates doubled features on the date, the motto, or Lincoln's portrait itself. And now here's the twist. The 1978 D Lincoln penny has one of the most subtle yet valuable doubling errors ever discovered. And only a handful exist in pristine, uncirculated condition. So yes, those lucky pennies your grandpa kept in his sock drawer? Turns out, he might have been smarter than Wall Street. As collectors realized how few of these 1978 D error coins existed, demand exploded. Auction houses across the country, from Heritage to Stacksbauer's, began seeing fierce bidding wars for high-grade specimens. One rare 1978 D penny in MS67 red condition recently sold for an astonishing $354,000, and the market isn't slowing down. Experts predict that as more collectors chase forgotten rarities, the value of these coins could skyrocket past $500,000 within the next decade. But here's where it gets serious: most people have no idea they might already own one. Each year, countless valuable coins are lost, melted, spent, or tossed into Coinstar machines simply because their owners never knew what they were holding. So if you've got old coins lying around, this is your wake-up call. Think of it this way: you're not just cleaning out the junk drawer, you're conducting a treasure hunt with a retirement plan. And it's not just about money. These coins tell stories of craftsmanship, history, and hidden fortune waiting to be claimed. Now imagine this: a man in Colorado, cleaning out his late father's toolbox, finds a small plastic bag of old pennies. One of them, dusty and dull, bears the 1978 D mint mark. He almost spends it, but curiosity wins. He checks the coin under a magnifier, notices the doubling on Liberty, and sends it for grading. Months later, he's holding a check for $354,000, all from a coin that once bought a stick of gum. That's the magic of discovery and the power of paying attention. Every coin has a story. Some stories are worth millions. But here's the part no one's talking about: experts believe there are still a few undiscovered 1978 D pennies out there, sitting quietly in old coffee tins, dresser drawers, or inherited collections. So the question is, will the next lucky finder be you? Go ahead, check your jars. Worst case? You find a few cents. Best case? You're looking at your first step toward a wealthy, freedom-filled lifestyle. This isn't just about coins. It's about opportunity, about recognizing that even the smallest things can carry incredible value. So start today. Because fortune favors the ones who look twice. Imagine this. You're sorting through an old jar of pennies, and one coin, just one, turns out to be worth $658,000. Sounds impossible, right? What if I told you that the 1979 D Lincoln penny you've overlooked for decades might be the hidden treasure you've been waiting for? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, why this coin is skyrocketing in value, and how people are selling these tiny copper treasures for life-changing amounts. And no, you don't need a metal detector or Indiana Jones hat, just your eyes, and maybe a magnifying glass. The year was 1979. America was caught between inflation, gas shortages, and a growing obsession with wealth preservation. The mint in Denver produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents, but something unusual happened. Among these ordinary coins, a few carried secrets. Errors, misstrikes, and rare die varieties that would one day make collectors' hearts race. Most people spent them without a second thought. Some ended up buried in old coffee cans or lost in couch cushions. But those who held on to them? Their patience could now be worth over $500,000. So before you dump that jar of change into a Coinstar machine, hold on. You could be giving away a small fortune for a cup of gas station coffee. But what exactly makes the 1979 D penny so special? Let's dig into that. Most 1979 D Lincoln cents are worth exactly 1 cent. But the rare varieties, those with doubled dies, die cracks, or striking errors, are a completely different story. One such penny, discovered in a small coin shop in Colorado, shocked even professional numismatists. It sold for an astounding $658,000. Imagine something smaller than your thumb turning into the down payment for a mansion. These valuable coins often feature subtle yet significant differences, like a double D mint mark, misaligned strikes, or the famous floating roof error where the Lincoln Memorial appears disconnected. Now, before you start holding your pennies up to the light like Sherlock Holmes, let's talk about why collectors pay so much. Rarity drives desire. When a mint error occurs, it's like a genetic mutation in the world of coins. And when only a handful survive in mint condition, graded MS67 or higher, they become legends. But here's where it gets interesting. Not all rare pennies have been found. Experts believe several high-value 1979 D specimens are still out there in drawers, jars, and dusty basements across America. That means you could be sitting on a fortune without realizing it. So, how can you tell if yours is the real deal? The answer might surprise you. To identify a valuable 1979 D penny, start with condition. The shinier, the better. Look for coins with sharp details, Lincoln's beard lines, the edges of the memorial, and especially the D mint mark. If the mint mark appears doubled, misplaced, or the design seems off-center, you may be holding a coin worth tens or even hundreds of thousands. And if you're thinking, I'll just grab my magnifying glass from the junk drawer, congratulations, you're officially a treasure hunter. Collectors and investors are paying top dollar, especially as high-grade coins continue to vanish into private collections. Once they're gone, they're gone. Every day, people unknowingly trade these rare coins for pennies. Don't be one of them. This market moves fast, and the window of opportunity is closing. So, could you be holding the next $658,000 penny? There's only one way to find out. Go check your coin jars, your old wallets, your dresser drawers. Because sometimes, the fortune you've been searching for is already in your hands. This is not just about a penny, it's about possibility, patience, and the promise of wealth hidden in plain sight. Because in the world of rare coins, one small discovery can change everything. They say money doesn't grow on trees, but what if it's been sitting in your pocket this whole time, disguised as a single copper coin? This is the story of the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin so common, you've probably held it dozens of times. Yet one version of this tiny piece of copper is now valued at an unbelievable $437,000. That's right, $437,000. For a penny. That's enough to turn your coffee change into a coastal vacation, or maybe even the down payment on your dream home. But here's the catch, most people will spend it without ever realizing what they had, and that's where our story begins. In the early 1990s, America was on the edge of change, new technology, new industries, and yes, new coins rolling out of the US Mint. But one batch, struck in 1994, carried a tiny imperfection, invisible to the untrained eye, that would later send collectors into a frenzy. And the shocking part? That error is probably still out there, hidden in someone's coin jar, maybe even in yours. So what makes this humble penny worth nearly $500,000? It all comes down to a few extraordinary details. Unlike most pennies struck with a mint mark, a small D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco, the 1994 no-mint mark penny was minted in Philadelphia, and a few rare examples came out with striking errors, double die obverse, weak strikes, and die cracks that split across Lincolns. Portrait.to the casual spender, it looks like a normal coin, but to a trained eye or a lucky viewer who knows what to look for, it's a jackpot. Imagine explaining that to your spouse. Honey, I just found $500,000 in the couch cushions. Good luck convincing them it's not monopoly money. Collectors pay insane premiums for these coins because error varieties are time capsules of minting history. They represent accidents that were never meant to happen, rare, beautiful mistakes that slipped through America's strictest coin production systems, and that's what gives the 1994 no-mint mark penny its mythical allure, a symbol of overlooked fortune, right under our fingertips. But before you start digging through your coin jar, there's something you need to know, because most people who think they've found this penny haven't. Here's how to tell if your 1994 penny might be the one collectors are hunting for. Look for a missing mint mark under the date 1994. No D, no S, just a clean, blank space. That means it was struck in Philadelphia. Under magnification, inspect Lincoln's profile. The double die error will show faint doubling around the eyes, nose, or date. Check the reverse. If the letters in United States of America or 1 cent appear slightly distorted, that's a strong indicator of a minting anomaly. If your coin matches these characteristics, congratulations. You could be holding one of the rarest modern pennies ever made. Auction records show that these coins verified and graded by experts, have fetched up to $437,000 in recent sales. One man in Ohio reportedly sold his for nearly that amount after it sat in a glass jar for over a decade. So yes, that old coffee jar might just be a retirement plan in disguise. The moral of this story isn't just about coins, it's about awareness, the power of recognizing value where others see nothing, because in life, as in numismatics, fortune favors the observant. So before you spend your next penny, look twice. That small glimmer of copper could be the turning point in your journey toward the wealth and freedom you've always dreamed of. And here's the real question: if one 1994 penny can be worth $437,000, what other treasures are hiding in your pocket right now? Because sometimes, wealth isn't earned, it's discovered. If you found this story inspiring, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because in our next video, we reveal another everyday coin that turned an ordinary man into a millionaire overnight.